lawmaker actually had the opportunity to sit down one-on-one for a conversation.
We talked a bit about what you and Tom just talked about. And I don't know if you saw when the governor spoke today, that banner with his new campaign slogan on the podium and behind him. Well, I began the interview with a question about that. Your banner there said Obama isn't working. Some in Ohio would argue that folks are going back to work in Ohio. The unemployment rate here is 7.6%, down from almost 9% a year ago. In your mind, how much of the credit does President Obama deserve for that?
Well, the president deserves virtually no credit for the fact that things are getting a little better. He's 3.5 years into his term. It's taken way too long for this economy to recover, and virtually everything he did made it harder for the economy to recover. It has been an anti-jobs, anti-investment administration, and as a result, people are suffering across this country.
Well, let me ask you this. The Republican governor of the state, John Kasich, is traveling around the state saying Ohio has been a leader in job growth and in job creation. Is he wrong?
The governor here is working very hard, as is the private enterprise sector, to try and make the economy stronger. But this president deserves none of the credit for the success you're seeing in certain corners of the country. Overall, we're still over 8% unemployment. The president said that if he were elected president and got his stimulus in place, we'd never go above 8%. We haven't been below 8% for 38 straight months. By his own measure, his presidency has failed to put Americans back to work.
His campaign, he's in general election mode now, but as you talked about, Jimmy, even some Lorain City officials were asking why he chose this closed plant to make his point today. It's a factory that was closed back in 2008 when Barack Obama was a candidate and George W. Bush was president. Are you blaming President Obama for the fact that this plant is closed and the fact that it hasn't been reopened?
I'm blaming President Obama for the fact that this recovery has been so long coming, has been so weak, that so many people are still out of work. His policies have not helped the American people get back to work. As to this particular factory, my guess is if we had a booming economy with drywall sales going through the ceiling, if you will, this factory would be up and running again. We've lost jobs, we've lost homes, we've lost dreams. That is this president's fault.
So under a Romney administration, in 3 years, under your policies, would this plant be reopened?
Absolutely. We're going to get factories across this country. I can't speak for the particular company, National Gypsum, and which factories they'd open or close, but I can tell you that I will devote every ounce of my energy to getting America working again.
I'd ask you about Ted Nugent. He said some things the other day that were at best disrespectful to the office of the president, at worst very nasty. Your campaign has said this should be civil. People should be civil. He said some pretty rough stuff. What do you think about what he said? Would you like to say anything more other than what your campaign has said thus far?
Well, I've listened to a lot of the rhetoric, frankly, from both sides of the aisle. And I really would like us to be far more civil in our discourse. I disagree with the president's policies. I think he's leading America in the wrong direction, but I don't think he's a bad person. And I hope people on the other side of the aisle recognize that about me and my wife as well. This kind of over-the-top rhetoric, I think, would be better replaced with more civil dialogue.